Yasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. What is that is distinguishing human species with other species? That is a basic question, to which Bhartrihari gives a fantastic analysis. He says there are many things which are common to animals and human. What is common? He says searching for food is common. When you are tired, you sleep. Animals also, when they get tired, they sleep. And you also want to protect yourself, defend yourself from all external things. Same way, animals also try to do the same thing. You also want to propagate, and they also want to spread their species. Now, all that is, everything you look at, animal life and human life, it is common. Everything seems to be the same. Then what distinguishes? He says, it is the sense of dharma. The sense of dharma is what is distinguishing animals and human. If that idea of dharma goes away, then human is as good as animal. Then we ask the question, what is that dharma? What is the meaning? How are we to understand? To which they say, the scriptures, the Shastras, the Vedas were the authorities on establishing, explaining what is Dharma. Now, if you want to know what is Dharma, you cannot be asking a physicist. You see, you can't ask a stockbroker. Can you tell me what is Dharma? This is a subject of inquiry of the philosophers. Philosophers inquire into what is Dharma, to which their conclusions is what we refer as the Shastras, scriptures. When you say scriptures, the Shastras or the Vedas, the teachings of these masters is what is referred as the Shastras here. So they tell us what is Dharma. Now, what is that Dharma founded on? What is the essential aspect of Dharma? See, for every aspect, there is something which is essential, which defines what it is. If that goes off, this has no meaning. Strictly speaking, the meaning of Dharma itself is that. Dharma meaning itself is that which essentially defines what it is. Example we get is this. The essential aspect of fire is heat. If you remove that heat out of fire, it is no longer fire. Essential aspect of sugar is sweet. If you have taken out sweet out of it, it is a crystal. It's not sugar. It loses the sugarhood. What defines that sugar a sugar is the sweetness in it. Same way, Dharma is that which defines. Now they ask this question, okay, what defines Dharma itself? Everything is defined by Dharma. Then what is the essential aspect of Dharma? This is the first question. This is a basic analysis. Like, essential aspect of devotion is what? Bhakti. The essential aspect. If this is not there, is not bhakti. The essential aspect is what devotion, bhakti is faith. There has to be that faith in it. If there is faith, there is a meaning in it. Otherwise, there is no bhakti there. Otherwise, it is just, doing things. That's about it. When you come, or when I come here, sit and speak, there has to be faith in Krishna. That there was a person called Krishna lived. Right? Divine incarnation he is. There has to be that unflinching belief in that. Without that belief, if you are going to be studying about Krishna, then what are we doing there? It is like you analyzing Harry Potter. We also think there is no big difference between Harry Potter and Krishna. For us, Krishna is more of a imaginary idea, not a reality for us. See? No. He is real. That faith should be there. Only then there is a meaning to only then you can actually understand what is going to be discussed about. If that is not there, it is not possible. Similarly, what is the essential thing? What is a jnanam, knowledge? What is the hallmark of jnanam? We say hallmark of bhakti. What is the hallmark of bhakti? That vishwasa, that faith, the ability to have that faith defines is the hallmark. Similarly, the hallmark of jnanam is vairagya, that dispassion, disinterest. If you say that you have jnanam, the strength of your jnanam is going to be judged not based on your communication skills, nor the number of degrees that you hold. Those things don't define it. Then what defines? It is the vairagya, the detachment that you carry with you. That is the essential dimension of jnana. Similarly, he asked this question, what is the essential aspect of dharma? It is not knowledge. The strength of dharma in your life is not defined by your knowledge of dharma. Then what? It is defined by your acharana. Means your ability to conduct, the ability to follow through. The sense of dharma should be following through in your conduct. So the hallmark of dharma is what? Not how much you know, not all those things, not what you talk. The words of justice we speak, that is not what is referred. What is essential is your ability to do it. Now, Vedas has given that instruction. Vedas has given what is to be done, what is not to be done. As Krishna says in the Gita, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavastito. It is the Shastra that is Pramana, means authority, in determining what is to be done, what ought not to be done. Vidhi and Nisheda. What is to be followed and what is to be avoided. That Vidhi Nisheda is established by the Shastras. They are the foundation. They teach us the Dharma, and the Dharma is the essence, is what is distinguishing human from all other creatures. Now when we say he has given that, and then we understand what is the essential aspect of Dharma is Acharana. Now the responsibility comes on the one who has given the Vedas to show in Acharana also, by following it, by conducting, by showing. Right? Otherwise, it is just going to be a matter of giving instructions. I've given the instructions, and the essential aspect of those instructions is following it. But how to follow that, what is to be done, Allah, you people work it out. Means it is leaving halfway, job not completed. I hope you are all with me. Right? Follow the thread carefully. Only then we can understand this, the position of these people. That is where they say, if they have to do this, the essential aspect of these avatars and all, that is what Dharma Samstapaya. Right? So what is he supposed to do? Establish Dharma is the agenda. Whatever the Dharma is. Now how that Dharma can be established? Not by talking, not by just writing in the book and leaving it. Now Dharma cannot be written in books and kept. It has to be brought into life, which is what we refer as Acharana. That is the crux of Dharma. Whereas moksha cannot be brought into Acharana. You can't conduct moksha. That is not possible. You are in the state of moksha. That's about it. It is not a practice. Remember, Dharma is to be practiced. And this Dharma needs to be established. Means what? Adharma has to be destroyed. So when you see these avatars, you'll find this adharma destruction happening constantly. Right? Whether it is in the form of Narsimha or in the form of the wild boar, Varaha avatar, every avatar. All those avatars, what was he doing was that. But then there was a problem. The problem was that itself is not complete. The completion of that comes only when you bring it in. That is where we had this avatars of Rama and Krishna come into picture. Where he has to take. He can't say, I have given that instruction in the form of Vedas and say you have to follow it. No. He himself has to come, also show, lead by example. Right? For which, what is needed? If he has to follow that Dharma, he needs very many situations around his life. They have to go through, because he can't just point a finger. He has to live it. When your sense of Dharma needs to be challenged, your ability to withstand that situation, withstand that loss, Both has to happen. He has to follow and show, for which what is needed? They need a, like human, they also have to take a form of a human. He cannot come as Narsimha. Because the moment he appears in the form of Narsimha, straight away we understand what? He is God, finished. So there is no more confusion. You see, simple that is. But once the development happens here, they have to show very many situations in their life. What are the situations in which we deviate from Dharma? Is whenever we have to go through a situation of a loss, right? When my stake is challenged, see, very easy for us to slip out of Dharma. When you slip out of Dharma, where you land? Adharma only. There are only two chances are there. There is no middle path here. There are only two. Either you are following the path of Dharma or you are following the path of Adharma. Now, when you go through a loss or when you go through a great sorrow, right, very easy to slip in. Such situations needs to be created around these people. That is what we see in life of Rama. Very, very obvious there. Very easy to understand. The sense of loss is what? The age of 24, this boy was called. No, he didn't ask. He did not ask. They called him and said, we have decided to make you the king. And tomorrow morning you have to take charge as a king. In the night, evening, announcement was made. And he goes. And then early morning, after he got ready for coronation, because all that bathing and all is over, all the things are being done by Vasishta. Vasishta has immediately brought in, emergency flights, have brought in all the water, holy water from all the rivers, have been brought, and bathing was done. He has dressed himself up for coronation. At that time he gets a news that your father is calling you. And he goes. Obviously he must be thinking what? When he got the message, Dasharatha calling you, what would be the thought of Rama? Now the father and Kaikeyi wants to see Rama in this attire. It's getting ready, you see. They want to see, first thing. They say, hey, first let me take a picture. That's what we do, when you see your child, you got a new dress and they are getting ready in the room for Diwali. You put on all the dress and the accessories and all that. It is taking 25 minutes. It's still going on. What happens to you? You can't be restful. You can't say, anyway they'll come out. No, doesn't matter. No, you cannot. You will be, doesn't matter. Whatever you have worn, you come out first. Let me see how this looks at you. Will be the thought of the parents. See, same way, Rama must be thinking like that. Look at this fellow. They can't wait. This father and this Kaikeyi can't wait, you see. They have to. This is the idea with which he comes out. And suddenly, this Kaikeyi says, you are banished from the state. You have to go to forest for 14 years. I don't know how many of you understand that, right? Hardly I have seen anyone understanding what is the meaning of that. See, imagine that. It's like a person, who is announced. It happened, I think, in this, Oscar.
Oh,
Oscar, it happened.
okay.
By mistake, they read the wrong name. And that fellow had come already on stage to receive it. He's standing there. Then they make announcement. No, it is not. Just an award, that is. This is kingdom. You are going to become the king, one of the biggest kingdom of that period. And not that you are not given. They are given one more instructions along with that. You are not getting Oscar. You have been banished from acting for next 14 years. You see that? It's not just not getting that Oscar. By mistake we read. It's okay. No. We have consciously made a decision, even though you are the right person to take it, but we have decided no for it. Also, for 14 years you cannot act. Ban. Imagine that fellow. What would be his condition on stage? That loss. Cut that scene here. Right? Then after that, Dasharatha dies, he goes to the jungle and he crosses the Ganges and he is staying in the jungle. Bharata comes. He says, no, I am not going to take over the kingdom. He abuses Kaikeyi, he fights with these people and all that. And he is taking the entire ministrels and gurus and parents, mothers, all of them go with Bharata to bring Rama back. Right? Bharata says, I am not going to take this kingdom, you better come back. Rama says, no brother, not possible. Then the Kula Guru Vasishta, he says, come back. Says no. His mother calls, Kaushalya, she says, I am telling you, no, come. Finally, Kaikeyi says, she says, I know why you are waiting. You want me to call you, no? That's why you are waiting, right? Now, you better come. He says, nothing doing. And there was a rishi by name Jabali. Kaikeyi also says. She also says finally. She says, please come. I made a mistake. I'm wrong thinking. I've been poisoned. And now I understand I made a mistake. So please come back. He says. This man says what? No. I am not coming back. Because once a word was given, it is given. That's it. Only then we understand what is the meaning of achara. The whole thing is only for what? I will follow dharma independent of any loss. Same way, there are situations in life where we slip out of dharma, where whenever you meet out with sorrow, when you get into that pain, suffering, some sorrow, it's easy to slip out. So we say, again you have to go to their life, whether it is Rama or Krishna. Both their lives you have to go and see. Now, between this Rama and Krishna, it's very easy for all of us to recognize and register the sorrow and the loss. In spite of sorrow and loss, Rama followed Dharma. Very obvious, very easy. Why? Because Rama displays exactly like all of us. His life itself looks like all of us. He also cries, right? He also laments. He also says all that durbuddhi of Kaikeyi. Be careful with her. It's all fate, man. What to do? It's all fate. Even though the same Rama who was being taught by Vasishtha, where it was established without any doubt that it is only Purushartha. There is no such thing called fate, destiny, prarabdha. He is a disciple of Vasishtha. He is a product of Vasishtha school. What a great teacher. And what a great student Rama was. But still Rama says in Ramayana, all fate, man. It's not no fault of you or no fault of mine. All fate. What to do? Be careful. There are people who are bad. There are people who are good. So we say what? But whereas, how did Krishna follow Dharma is so difficult for us to recognize and register. That's why there is a great saying we have. Many people refer this. Say, you should learn to live life from the life of Rama and from the teachings of Krishna. Don't look at the life of Krishna and learn. Don't try to live like Krishna. You have to learn to live like Rama. Don't live like Krishna. Why? Even though there are so many things, because Rama looks pretty much human. Right? Even though Rama also displays very many miracles. Right? You also go for jungle safari, climbing, trekking. You also go. Right? How many stones you would have touched? Has any stone turned into a lady? Huh? Whereas Rama goes and his feet, he just on his way, by mistake, his feet touches one stone, one rock. That rock turns into Ahalya. Does Ahalya get a moksha? How is it possible for now? How can you follow that? You only say, no, we should live like Rama, learn from Rama's life. Now, can you do this? Within one muhurta means 48 minutes. Okay. In one muhurta, this man killed 16,000 Rakshasas single-handedly. After this lady who comes, Shurpanaga comes and is being chased away, and she goes and complains to Skara and Dushana. And those fellows were having their battalion of Rakshasa armies there. So they come to fight, to avenge for Shurpanaga. 16,000 Rakshasas. 16,000 fellows. 48 minutes. Finish them. This is what, end of Mahabharata war. Arjuna asks Hanuman, because Hanuman was supposed to be sitting. That's the flag. Hanuman is the flag of Arjuna. So Hanuman was actually sitting in that flat. And he is a witness for that entire battle. And Arjuna asked, how is it? Yeah, good. The way Hanuman said good, Arjuna understood. There is no meaning you are asking. Then Hanuman says, I have witnessed the Rama Ravana fighting. That's what I have witnessed. Allah, don't ask me to compare. You cannot compare. And in Valmiki Ramayana, Valmiki is known for comparisons. He is ultimate. Upamana. Examples, Valmiki is class apart. Now, he has to describe about the war between Rama and Ravana. They are fighting. Now, he has to describe. And he says, Rama and Ravana were fighting like Rama and Ravana. Say, what? Now, how can you describe it? Now, that fight I have seen, you are asking me, this is nothing. Now, can any human try to live like Rama? When Rama decided to leave Vaikuntha Aroha, they go back. They go back. They ascend. Descending is avatar. Ascending, he is going back. After his Rama avatar is over, he is ascending. When he was ascending there, he has taken along with him to Vaikuntha even the blade of grass with him to Vaikuntha, Moksha. Can you follow that? People say, you have to follow, you have to live like how Rama lived. Try to give moksha for Ahalya. Try to do this. But still, why that appears so easy for us is, Rama looks very much like all of us. But Krishna is standing totally apart. You can't understand. You can't define. You cannot put him in anything. At the same time, Krishna can accommodate himself in everything. Such a contradiction. Such a conflict. Very difficult for us to understand. That is why Rama's life is referred as Rama Charitra, story. Whereas Krishna Leela. You don't say Krishna Charitra. It is referred as Krishna Leela. Why Leela? It is a sport. It is just a fun for him. He says, Vajaman. It is a sport. Sport is where we don't understand that as our defined operations. Like, there are two ways a person can function on stage. One, he functions as a character. He becomes the character. Another one is he operates as an actor. There are two ways. One, you play as a character. Right? It is the same actor. Another one is you play not as a character, you play that as an actor playing a role. You see the when you play the role as a character, what happens? You get involved in it. You have to go through the fluctuations of that character. Whereas when you are playing that character as a role played by the actor, you are anchoring yourself as an actor and enacting. Rama's life is the first one. Krishna's life is the second one. That is why Krishna's life is referred as Leela, the sport. Why? He's not playing as a character, he's just an actor. He's playing a role, that's it. Thereby, there is no seriousness at all. When you play that as a character, when you become a character, you become serious. Here, there's no seriousness at all here. That's why we call it as sport. Now today, even sport we play seriously. Now we are attempting to understand Krishna who lived his life in the spirit of sport. Sportively he lived his life. Today we can't even play sports also with such seriousness, as though it is a life and death. Two teams were playing against each other, not finished. They kill each other. They're willing to destroy a person. One match you lose. That also I can understand. If India, Pakistan were to lose in hockey, we don't have any issue. But India, Pakistan were to lose in a cricket match, then it is a big issue. Weird fellows. You see, all the tournaments, tennis, Wimbledon, most disciplined spectators in the world you find is tennis. In tennis, you find the best in Wimbledon. All that the referee has to say, they clap and all those things. All that he says is, quiet please. Suddenly everything is silent. Not a noise. No one screams in between. Most disciplined. Same English. Same England. Worst audience. Worst spectators in the world. Football. You see, weird. Look at the contrast. We live like that today. Everything has become so serious for us. Now, with such seriousness, when you are going to be looking at Krishna's life, it's almost impossible. Rama is little easy to decode for us. Even though there are so many aspects of Rama which you just cannot comprehend at all. You cannot understand. But Krishna looks absolutely impossible. Why? Because his life is a sport. It is a Leela for him. Now, Leela doesn't mean he did not go through. That is why we can't understand the sorrow that Krishna had to go through or the loss that Krishna has to suffer. Met out. Now, how much of problems he had to face, we have no idea. We have so much of sympathy for Karna. Right? How many of you have sympathy for Krishna? He is supposed to be king. Right? His father was a king, no? Vasudeva was a king. He was a prince. That is how Devaki was married to Vasudeva. Right? He is not just a local fellow. King. A king's son was born where? the prison, and he had to be taken out of mother. And if you feel that Karna, who has been taken out of mother as soon as he is born, I can't understand why can't you have the same sympathy for Krishna, who's also been taken out of his mother. Hmm? By the age of 10, Krishna has to kill his own uncle. Otherwise, his uncle will kill him. From the very first day, how many attempts were made on Krishna's life? How many attempts were made on Karna's life? Huh? He had a very happy childhood actually. You people don't understand what is the meaning of Krishna being a coward boy. You should go and see. Today you have to go and see the condition of cowherd boys. What is their lifestyle? Karna doesn't have to go through all that. He had his father. Someone adopted him. And they were treating him well. He was sent to school. Krishna could not go to school. You know that? There was no education given for Krishna. After the killing of Kamsa, only he was sent to Sandipani for education. Adult education, that is. It's not a child education. He did not go to school at that age. He went to school after that. Karna doesn't have to suffer all those things. His childhood was very peaceful. Whereas Krishna's childhood was not peaceful. Okay. After that, was his life peaceful? No. Even after that, his life was constantly under threat. Under threat. Constantly. From birth till death. If there was one person who had to be fighting life and death situation every time, that is Krishna alone. No one has gone through that sort of a lifestyle. But none of us register it. Why? He doesn't show that at all. See, he doesn't show. Because our life we go through by one principle. What is it? The baby who cries gets the milk. The one who is not crying will not be fed. The customer who gives maximum noise is the fellow who gets maximum attention. That's all. Now, if we live in this pattern, from here we are trying to relate to Krishna. That's why it is easy for us to relate to Rama. Because many things we can connect with Rama. Because he is also a crybaby. Not literally, but that's a character. Okay. I'm not talking about the inner status of those people. Remember that. Inner state of Rama, inner state of Krishna, inner state of Narsimha, inner state of Parashurama, inner state of Buddha, inner state of Mahavira, inner state of all those masters being same. There's no difference in that. But that is not what we discuss here. The discussion here is with reference to what we learn from them. You cannot learn anything from their inner state. You can learn only from their life. What we learn from his life. What is his condition? And what is the difficulty for us with Krishna? We can understand, number one, playfulness. He lives his life with such playfulness. So, you just can't see what is happening inside. Right? Always smiling. Now, what will you understand? What is going on? One. Second problem we have is, there are two major problems we have. One is the playfulness of Krishna. Right? Because no other master you can imagine to be coming with dancing with gopis, playing flute, treating, mending the horses, driving chariot, driver job. Look at the comfort he has to perform all that. One side. Other side, we have a greatest difficulty with reference to Krishna is we live life with clear demarcation of certain things are agreeable, certain things are not agreeable. Certain things I accept, certain things I don't accept. Today, an orthodox person, a traditional way of saying is right and wrong. Because today we have everybody started using the word. There's no such thing called right and wrong, right and wrong, right and wrong. But definitely all of us have something called agreeable and not agreeable. That's what I'm not able to understand. If you can say certain things are agreeable, certain things are not agreeable to me, then on what grounds you have the audacity to claim there is no such thing called right and wrong? When you are in a position where everything is agreeable to me, everything is not agreeable to me, then you can take a stand as there is no such thing called right or wrong. When we have certain things are acceptable for me in the sense what? In my house, this is how it should be done. In my company, this is how it should happen. Isn't it? In my life, it should be like that. My son should be like this. My wife should be like this. My husband has to be like that. My driver should drive like this. My driver should understand that I am in a hurry and drive accordingly. My driver should understand that I am not in a hurry, I can go aram se. Now, according to the way in which I believe as a right driving is how he should drive. Only then he is a good driver. Very, very, very interesting. Everyone has. How many drivers you have? 5. You? 4 drivers are there. You also 4 drivers. Same. Right. So every one of you will have one person as your favorite driver. Sir, this car will not give to anyone else. Only he will drive. I had other fellow. Yes. He has a big car. Other cars also there. This car also there. But he says, sir, this car we will not give to other drivers. In fact, this man was telling me, when his son comes from abroad, he won't allow him to drive that car. Yes. Sir, either I will drive or this driver will drive. All other fellows don't. Why? I asked him. You need to say, then if those guys are not good, why are you keeping them? No, throw them. Engage, another fellow. No. No, not like that. Then what? Then why you say that is you take someone to be some dish of yours is agreeable to you. You say, sweets I don't like, but moti laddu I have. What is that? Only moti laddu. All other sweets are all rejected. But moti laddu given, accepted. Even Tirupati laddu rejected. Moti laddu only I will have. We live life like that. Now suddenly we will encounter Krishna who doesn't divide life like this. He accepts both equally. How will you understand it? See, first you must understand the difficulty in understanding Krishna. What you will encounter. When you have to meet Krishna, you should know what to expect. What do you expect here? Now you just cannot. You can't digest him. Typically, I'll give you an example. You can't digest Krishna. You can't. Superficially, all of us will say, yeah, Krishna, God, yeah, he's great, this, that. Keep him at a distance. See, positioning him as God is just a way in which we have distanced. You see, because you can't go closer to him. Because the way he speaks for peace, he goes to Dhritarashtra, when he goes for peacemaking, how fantastically he explains peace. How beautiful it is. Same man comes in Kurukshetra when Arjuna was speaking for peace. He does what? He speaks for war. Suddenly you see Krishna, who is voicing for peace, standing here and goads Arjuna for war, violence. How will you digest it? That's why Arjuna, when you read, Arjuna will look such a non-violent personality. Whereas Krishna is the one who is violent, because he is the one who says, no, you have to take the arms and fight. You are a Kshatriya. What nonsense you are doing? Stand up and fight, man, he says. Killing effortlessly. Yes, kill. Now, we don't know what to do with it. That is why today we have a fantastic way of dealing with it. Today, the modern man had found a way to handle that. What? The Mahabharata war is not an actual war. It is allegorical. It is the war between good and the evil, which is happening in every one of us. Inside you there is good, inside you there is bad. And Krishna stands for the divinity, who supports the good, and the good should destroy the evil and win over. That's it. Obviously, I am the good, you are the bad. Isn't it? When a banker comes, who is good, who is bad? Who is good, who is bad? So I asked one fellow insurance guy who came. LIC, not LIC, ICIC insurance. Said, I want to meet you, sir. I said, please come. Nobody is coming to meet me. Only the register, in my house register only is empty. All other houses registers are there. I said, come. He came. He was explaining, your life is like this, your life is like that. You have no concern. I said, you are so worried about my life. I'm so glad to see. At least someone is worried about me, about my family, my daughter, that, all those things. I heard everything. And finally he said, yes, sir. Can you tell me what is your annual income? I said, how much you want, you put? No, sir, I wanted to know what's your annual income. I said, whatever you want, you put. No. I said, sir, no joking, please. What's your annual income? Put it as nil. He said, what? Sir, what? I said, man, don't do all this drama to me as though you are worried about my daughter, you are worried about my wife, what will happen to her. Don't say all that. Because if I am not going to be taking a policy with you, when you go out and you are wearing your shoes, what will be in your mind? Huh? Idiot. Wasted my half an hour. Yes or no? Give me answer to that, then I will talk to you. But the way you speak will always be what? When a customer walks in, you should identify with the customer needs. For what? Hmm? For what? Only to sell. Now the question is, who is good, who is bad? If the customer subscribes, good. Customer rejects, bad. Very simple for us. Who is a good element in you, who is bad element in you? Anything that is agreeable to you is good, anything that is not agreeable to you is bad. As simple as that. So we completely deviate that entire thing from external to internal vague ideas. Once this has happened, you don't have to worry about Bhagavad Gita after that. You don't have to worry about Krishna after that. You don't have to worry about the Kurukshetra war at all. After that, you don't have to care. Why we are able to do that, this luxury we have, is because we are distanced from the event. Because event is supposed to have happened about 5,000 years back. 5,000 years is a distance of huge one. You understand what is it now? 1947 we got independence. 75 years. Does this generation understand what is the meaning of Independence Day? Holiday. Independence Day means what? Compulsory holiday. That's all. More than that, where is the Jubilee of Independence? Vis-a-vis 1948, August 15, 1948. How was it? 1947, August 15, most of us don't even know because the news got reached only after a few days. It seems that we got independence. It seems that we got independence. You see, August 15, 1947 is not actually we realized because most of us realized it only on the 16th, 17th. Confirmation. Right? Or it is just a fake news. Who knows? Nobody knew that time. But 1948 independence is what? Same way, see the other side. The war that we had, World War. Right? Those who have, recently that man passed away. The lone survivor who survived the Second World War. He recently passed away. He's the last one, they say. I don't know how. But so interesting to see. Now, what is his understanding of World War vis-a-vis what we understand World War today? It's a matter of how many years? 90 and odd years. That's it. Within this itself, we have missed. Now we are talking about 5,000. Where is 75, 80? And where is 5,000? It's a huge difference. You miss it completely. See, that is what we give here. Say, we had so much of distance, gave us the luxury to lose it. This is our advantage. Now we can interpret it any way we want. But does it mean that Krishna has no relevance to the current life? You see, in current life, more than all other masters' teachings, Krishna's teachings alone will have this relevance. You see, relevance of Krishna and his teachings are far more relevant today than any other master. Because Krishna is the only master who is standing apart from the rest. All other world masters were teaching life to be what? Life is full of pain, suffering. Life is painful. Life is so much of suffering, so much of problem, so much of problem, so much of problem. And when you feel that life is full of problems, it is easy for us to conceive something higher, something else, right? Now, if you look at this modern world, today we don't call life as painful, is it? Like in Bible it says, no, let her give birth in pain. Today, where is pain in giving birth? Painless births is what the norm today is. There's no pain. How we have developed so much. Earlier days, people have been worried about death and problems and this and that. Today, what is our concern? Our concern today is why live so long? You see, the problem of the past was, God, how to live long. Today, the problem is what? Why I am living so long? This is the problem of the modern man. You see, the whole dynamics have changed. The whole scene has changed. Life is no longer miserable. We may keep on repeating, yeah, life is miserable, life is miserable. If it is such a miserable life, why don't you end it? But still we are continuing it, isn't it? See, one hand, this is the contradiction in which we live. Now, Krishna says there is no contradiction. Krishna synthesizes the whole thing. He clears off the whole thing by stating, where is pain in life? See, one extreme is Buddha. Another extreme is Krishna. One extreme Buddha, he says, life is pain. Krishna is wondering, standing there is pain in life. What is it that you are calling as pain in life is the problem of Krishna. Now we are standing in the middle, don't know what to do. Because sometimes for us, Buddha looks correct. Sometimes for us, Krishna looks correct. It's exactly like, when you sit for these debates, listen to these people, when BJP spokesperson speaks, yeah, correct only, no. And the moment a Congress spokesperson speaks, what happens? Democrat spokesperson speaks, Republican spokesperson speaks. When they speak, it looks, yeah, correct. When he speaks, what they look, it's correct. Now, both are speaking exactly opposite. Now, what to do now? Now, that is where Krishna's relevance today gets far more interesting. He is quite relevant for us, but he defies our comprehension. It is easy to comprehend Buddha. It is easy to comprehend Mahavira. It is easy to comprehend Rama. It is easy to comprehend all other masters. Very easy, not a big difficulty. But Krishna is the one who comes and stands because he accepts, his acceptance is total, not partial. He doesn't divide things. He takes life in totality. And his approach to life is one of sport. He goes and tends the cows. He does that as a play. When he has to kill a demon, he does that as a play. Now Arjuna is saying, how can I kill my uncle? To Krishna, who has killed his uncle when he was 10 years old. Right? Now, how can I kill my relative? Is what Arjuna is asking to whom? To Krishna, knowing well that Krishna has killed his uncle. Right? Now, to him, if you go and ask, all that Krishna has to do is what? That. But so interestingly, in the Bhagavad Gita, never he refers that. Nowhere he refers, I have killed my uncle, you are talking about how can I kill my uncle, how can I kill shut up. Yes. I have killed my own son. Yes, I have killed my son. Right, Narakasura. He killed, no, his son only. Narakasura is his son only. Bhudevi is whose wife? Vishnu has two wives, no? Sridevi and Bhudevi. If Narakasura is Bhudevi's son, all of you know the story, right? You don't know that. He is not pursuing Bhudevi. Narakasura, Diwali we celebrate, no? Why do we celebrate Diwali? Because Krishna killed Narakasura, correct? That you know, no?
Yes.
Who is Narakasura? Bhudevi's son. You see, that is the time Bhudevi comes and requests Krishna to bless this day to be celebrated by people. Can you believe? See, unbelievable. Many people think it is Narakasura who requested. I say that's boring. Narakasura asking world should celebrate my death. No. The mother, keeping the body of the son, requests the fellow who had assassinated. The son says, let the world celebrate death of the son. Who is that? Bhudevi is whose wife? Krishna's wife only, no? Sridevi and Bhudevi. There are two wives he has. Sridevi and Bhudevi. If this man is a son of Bhudevi, then who is the father? He is the father. He has killed his own son. So what? He has killed his own niece, Shubhala. He has killed his own uncle, Kamsa. He has no partiality there at all. In fact, he is the one who destroyed the entire clan of Yadavas. He finished them off. He has nothing. He says what? If this has to be done, it is the same clan he protected. He shifted this clan from Mathura to Dwaraka. Why? To protect them. To protect these people only, he brought them to Dwaraka. And then he himself finishes this entire clan. See, does he want to protect or does he want to destroy? That's what Arjuna gets confused when Krishna shows his Vishwarupa. In that Vishwarupa, he shows creation and destruction parallelly happening. Now we understand birth, death happening at a distance, isn't it? We never understand birth and death happening together. You see that? In Vishwarupa, when Krishna rose, what did Arjuna see? He saw creation, destruction happening together. That is what he says, take it back. I can't take it. Why he is not able to take it is, it is impossible for us to conceive birth, death happening together. We can understand this happening at a distance, whatever the distance is, but there has to be a distance. We can never understand it. And Krishna stands as that together. Together when he is speaking, on one side you see him speaking about peace, other side you see him speaking about violence. On one side you see him living with such poverty, ease. Same Krishna lives in opulence, same thing. Same Krishna was able to have a fantastic relationship with Duryodhana, also has a difference with Duryodhana. He has such a fascinating one. He can relate to, he keeps Duryodhana one way, he treats Duryodhana one way. Same man treats his father, who is also part of that conspiracy, another way. He treats Dhritarashtra in another way. You see, for us, it's not like that. You say what? En bloc. All these Bihari fellows are like that. Isn't it? All these Malayalis are like that only, sir. All these Kannadigas, like that. All these Americans like this. All, Japanese like this. You can never understand life to be lived on individual based. Individually you relate. Same family. With the same family, with Bhishma, Krishna was relating differently. With Vidura, he is dealing differently. With Duryodhana differently. Dhritarashtra differently. But at the same time, he has such a closeness to the family. At the same time, he is standing on the other side saying, finish them off. How is it possible to digest him as one man? That's why they made him more fictitious. Very fictitious character he is. Rama is very easy for us to relate to. Krishna is such a complex character. Remember, because of the very nature, that multi-dimensional, that multifaceted aspect in that personality is so difficult for us to understand. Whereas perfection with reference to Buddha, Mahavira, Christ, or Rama, all those people are one dimension. Now straight away you can fix, this is what Buddha. Straight away you can fix, this is what Mahavira. You can straight away fix, this is what he is, 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 this is what he is. Now when it comes to Krishna, what is he? You cannot fix him. He will do anything. Imagine Krishna lived for another 10 years. This is what I say. Imagine Buddha lived for another 10 years, what he would have done? He would have visited few more villages, taught to few more people, converted few more people. Correct? That's what he would have done. If Mahavira would have lived for a few more years, if Rama lived for a few more years, you can. Imagine Krishna lived for a few more years. What what he would have done. Forget about few days. If he lived for a few more days, what he would have worked and what he would have dealt, how he would have treated, how he would have met out that situation is impossible. With such ease, with such comfort for a person to deal with the situation. And every situation that was encountered by Krishna is such a complex one. And we will see few. See the hidden messages in each one of that. How complex it is, how hidden those messages are. It's so easy. That's why we call it as Krishna Leela. Two dimensions. It is so difficult. But at the same time, Krishna is the most relevant. From the past, if you have to pick out one person who is relevant to current context, all time reference you can have is Krishna. Krishna is the only character, only master whose life and teaching will have relevance to any period of time, to anyone for that matter, in any situation. Shankara will not be applicable to all people. You see, Shankara's life and his teachings cannot be applied by everyone. Everyone can't say that Advaita. There is only one. And his lifestyle is what? Sannyasa. At the age of 8, he took sannyas. So what are we going to do, sir? From brahmacharya straight to sannyasa? Everyone can't take that. Not that is not practically possible. Whereas you see this boy who had such a glory, he lost everything, he slogged and he worked, regained all that, again challenged time and again to lose out everything, again rebuilt that entire empire by his individual effort. That also was kept under a stake for no reason. And right in front of him, people were not willing to acknowledge and accept. No one was challenging Rama. No one was hurling abuses at Rama. Krishna has to listen to all the abuses, insults.
Why that?
So much he has to go through.
But why
One,
that?
we'll see that. One by one we will see.
Rama
So much he has to go through.
Dharma, man.
Rama, no one questioned him. No one heard any abuse at him. No one challenged him. No one spoke against. Whereas Krishna has to suffer when Krishna shows the Vishwarupa, when he goes for peace, Duryodhana tries to capture, arrest Krishna. Krishna shows his Vishwarupa. Duryodhana looks at that Vishwarupa and says, I know all these magic tricks. Shut up, he says. See, when Krishna is showing that Vishwarupa, Duryodhana refers that as what? Magic. You see, now can you believe? God coming and showing his Vishwarupa, you call it as magic and dismiss now. What an insult. Huh? It's like that, friend who saw that Rolls Royce. I said, no, ambassador Mari irukku. Friend only. Rolls Royce, he says, ambassador, it's like ambassador. Oh, what is the comparison? Thank God it's not known to Rolls Royce. The designer. He will hang himself. He is that. And in front of Krishna, Duryodhana says that to Krishna. It's not drama. How much of abuses of Shishbala? How much of abuses of Rumi? How much of abuses of all these people? So many of them. How much he has to suffer for no fault of his. He has been called as a thief. He's stolen that Shamantaka. No fault of his. He had nothing to do with it. He has to suffer all that. But all that he goes through with such classic way. Right? At least Rama looks little easy for us to relate because he cries. When he has a joy, he is, he's overwhelmed with joy. He expresses that. He is far more human-like for us. Whereas Krishna stands and with such balance. At the same time, you can't say that balance of Krishna is like that grave silence. It's not like that. Graveyard silence. It is the exuberance of life, but still it is full of loss and sorrow. There are two lifestyles. One, that is also perfection. This is also perfection. But between the two, which is a superior perfection? The Shastra says Krishna's perfection is superior, even to Rama's perfection. Because Rama's perfection is played as a character. Krishna's perfection is played like a role. Just a role I'm playing. That's it. So, fully Krishna is conscious of his divine nature. Rama got involved in the character. Rama, the Asharadatmajam, he says, I don't know about my divine nature and all those things. I am Rama, son of Dasharatha. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. This is the problem of Rama. When you come to Krishna, the problem we will encounter is almost possible. Because you can't divide and understand. You have to take Krishna as whole, or else leave him. Either take him together or